Hi, it's Alex from laughingplace.com. I'm here with Mark Levine and Vanessa Hunt. Congratulations on Behind the Attractions, which launches July 21st on Disney Plus. I was curious to know, what roles did you play with this incredible series? Whoever wants to go first.
My role was that of being interviewed. That was the biggest part I played. I was involved really early on with one of our first sessions to sort of figure out what the theme would be for each show, what attraction we would talk about, and putting together ideas for what stories we could tell to our fans, and sort of just nerding out with fellow Imagineers, dreaming of what this could be.
And I got involved early on, really from the beginning of Imagineering, getting involved, working with Brian Volk-Weiss, Robin Henry, and the team from the Cell, to figure out sort of, as they came in with the idea of what the show should be, and they had really done their homework coming in, but to sort of say, okay, now how do we really get it in, sort of become truly a story that represents Imagineering, represents the work that really happens. I worked very closely with them, me and my team, to sort of figure out how we're going to make that true, make that all come to life, and then just help throughout. So
Great. I was curious to know if either of you were fans of Brian Volk-Weiss's work before Behind the Attractions. I know for me, the Toys That Made Us was kind of what put him on my radar. Was that kind of programming something that you were interested in, and was it fun getting to apply it to the Disney fandom?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a fan of that show as well. I am a fan of that show. I really like Brian's style. It was a moment of trying to figure out, okay, now what does that style mean for our work and our world? So there was that sort of like, okay, Brian, like how's that going to work? And I think that it worked out very well. But it was, I am a fan of that style, but he calls it, I think, pop history as an approach. And I think that's a great way to talk about it. And I think I was just sort of struck by how we were able to pull that style together with our world. So
I wasn't familiar with his shows before, but going into early meetings with him, it was definitely fun to see how excited and how passionate he was about this and about telling these stories and about learning as much as he could. So that was fun for me to see that. It was, yeah.
I was curious to know, what was the most joyful part of being involved with Behind the Attractions?
For me, it was getting to, I guess, share some of my love for the artists that are part of the collection that I care for. I always like to share that with our fans because it's exciting. It's amazing work that they've created, and anytime we have an opportunity to share that is just a cool thing to be a part of.
I think Brian and the team are so great to work with. So it's been fun the whole time. But honestly, getting to watch the final episodes to me was really a revelation, because I think, I saw a lot of the interviews. I know all the people involved. I had a basics of the stories, but to see them pulled together, edited the way they did, put those shows together, and to see them all back to back was really, to me, really eye-opening and really enjoyable.
Speaking of the interviews, I know, Imagineers are very creative people, and your offices are usually very elaborate. I can only imagine a lot of fans are going to be starting and stopping the show each time a new office is shown, trying to see what's in the background and figure out what things are. How much sensitivity was there to what can we show? Like, what do you have to pull off your shelves before the camera crew comes in for all those moments?
I was actually interviewed on a set rather than my office, so I didn't have to worry about that at all, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always projects going on in Imagineering. There is a long creative process involved. So I think, we obviously don't want things to be shown before they're supposed to. But yeah, I do think a lot of these were shot in locations that they chose.
Earlier, Brian spoke a little bit about the show being sort of present focused, like not doing anything on like Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland that's been gone for over 30 years, but keeping it relevant to attractions that people can actually go to and experience today. But the show still very much celebrates the history of Disney as a company, of the theme parks. How did you guys kind of work to keep that balance of being current and relevant for now, for someone who might have never gone to Disneyland and be going in July, versus for fans who grew up with these parks and have generational history with them.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we helped them with to sort of understand, because they had a long list. You can kind of imagine the list that you could create of episodes you could do for this show. So I think trying to find that balance of classic, new, not all attractions, hotels, transportation, that balancing act was one of the challenges to sort of, it's an editorial challenge. How do you get down to sort of a good collection that's going to be the first season of a show like this? So, there's a lot more that could be in subsequent seasons.
Well, and you touched on it a little bit, Mark. The definition of attraction, since it's in the title. I know a lot of guests get confused by that, but you mentioned there is an episode that the title says it's about the Disneyland Hotel. There's an episode on Disney transportation, particularly monorails and steamboats and buses. So how did you guys define what the word attractions meant in this sense for the series?
I mean, I think for the most part, we are focused on what we would all consider our attractions. But I think the idea of an attraction really is a guest experience, right? And so I think going to the hotel or riding on the monorail, riding on the Disneyland Railroad is a guest experience. I would absolutely argue that the Disneyland Railroad is an attraction. And some people think even the tram from the parking lot at Disneyland is an attraction too. It's all guest experience, and I think that's what this is really about. So yes, the show is called Behind the Attraction. That is mostly about our classic not just the classics, but the idea, the classic definition of attraction. But I think it really encompasses everything we do.
Yeah, I agree with the tram, especially if you have the right guide. It keeps it very fun. Well, thank you both so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Congratulations again on the show. And everybody, you can check out Behind the Attractions only on Disney Plus starting July 21st.